Good evening. Welcome to We Need to Talk with Tony Lindsay. I am your host, Tony Lindsay, and I am back. Finally. So it's time for us to really start kicking off this podcast. I know I haven't been on here that often, but I decided that it's time for me to really go full steam with the podcast. So you guys can look forward to future episodes. We're going to have some great guests on. We're going to be talking about a myriad of topics. We're going to be talking primarily politics, but we're also going to be just talking about other things, relationships, education, just other areas that are very important to the American people. So I just want to make sure that you guys tune in. If you're watching me on TikTok, because I have TikTok right here on the screen next to me. What's up, guys? How y'all doing? Everybody that's following me on TikTok, you guys are I really want you guys to start moving over, start transitioning to the X platform, the Rumble platform, and yes, even YouTube. I'll try to crack through that algorithm. Unfortunately, I'm probably one of the most censored people that you find on these social media apps, unfortunately, but it's not going to stop me from telling the truth. We know that we live under like a huge censorship regime still, even though Donald Trump did promise to attack that. We're going to need to hold him accountable to be a little bit more aggressive in that regard. So I want to cover a couple of stories today, just so, we just build up this information. I used to do a segment on the show called Fact Check Fridays. We're going to be bringing that back every Friday. We're going to be doing what is called Fact Check Fridays, where we're going to take a couple of stories that are out there in the zeitgeist, and we're going to either validate them, verify them, or debunk them. Now, unfortunately, the majority of the stories that the public has been fed, it's been fake news. And I know y'all don't like the term fake news because Donald Trump says it, but we have been consuming fake news for years. And what we really do need now is we need for people who are serious about real information, people who are serious about critical thinking, to start getting involved in the conversation and start taking the initiative and start putting out the real information. And by the way, okay, so my X account, for those of you who don't know, it's Real Tony Lindsay, TonyLindsay. Also, if you're on TikTok, please share the live. Just hold down, put your finger over my face, and it'll like pop out this whole thing and you'll see send. I want everybody here who's watching, please share this live to as many people as you can, because it's time for us. If we're going to really get the word out, right? If we're really going to change the narrative, we have to be proactive about spreading the word, about sharing actual information outside of the propaganda that we have been inundated with. Because unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there who think they know what they're talking about, and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. I only see a couple of people sharing this live. I'm going to hold you all accountable. Share the live. If you're here, if you're watching me on Rumble, on YouTube, on X, share the live. I'm not even streaming to any Meta platforms right now because I'm so heavily banned on those platforms. It just doesn't even make sense. Like if I'm streaming to Instagram or if I stream to Facebook right now, it'll probably go to one person. So that's just what it is. So you guys got to recognize that people are really actively trying to hide information from you. And the real question is why? So there have been a couple of things that have been going on, and I want to kind of talk about some of this because, and I you know where I want to start? I want to start with Tesla. We've been seeing a lot of crazy stuff happening. People are going all over the country. Like all over the country, they're burning Tesla vehicles. They're shooting at them. They're vandalizing them. They're scraping them up. They're keying them. They're doing all types of they're setting fire to charging stations, vandalizing Tesla dealerships. Like it's crazy. Like the stuff that I've seen, it's outlandish. I cannot believe the things that I've been looking at. And so you know what I'm noticing? I'm thinking, yeah, on TikTok, I can definitely tell that the live is being suppressed. So, yeah, guys, I'm really asking you guys, because I know there's this funny thing about social media, right? The people who are on TikTok, they stay on TikTok. The people who are on X, they stay on X. But I also see a lot of integration, or I see a lot of sourcing from either platform to the other. But it's just so crazy that most of the people I see who are on X, they don't use TikTok. And the people who are on TikTok, they don't use X. And I think it's important that we get outside of the echo chambers, right? And unfortunately, TikTok, while it does have different views here and there, we can get trapped in an echo chamber. So I'm really encouraging you guys, no matter what social media platform you're on, try to sign up for everything. But especially, I would say that the two most important social media platforms for you to be on today are X and Rumble. And that is because those are two of the last bastions of free speech that remain in this country, whether you like Elon Musk or not. So, okay, good. Hey, Ray, thank you for coming over from TikTok. Right. I want to start seeing a lot more of my TikTok folks coming over, because guess what? Instead of seeing me on TikTok, like with this little side angle, this little portrait mode, you can come on over here and you can see the full screen, full everything, and you can watch the podcast. Especially when I get guests on here, you can really be on top of it. My guy promoting Elon's X. Yeah, I guess I am. I'm promoting a platform where I have a voice. Yeah, and another thing about TikTok, you get a lot of people who come in there, like bots and trolls, people who come in there to try to like derail the conversation. They come in, they insult you, even though we know that happens all over social media. But I've noticed, like, if you're someone who says anything in defense of Donald Trump or the Trump administration, especially if you're black, you get a lot of hate, like a lot of aggressive hate and racism on TikTok. That shit is crazy with it. And so, yeah, I just say diversify your social media portfolios, folks. That's important. Diversify it and start becoming a little more open to information, right? New information, different points of view, because whether you like it or not, the country made a very specific decision. They made a choice. They gave a mandate this past election. Every single state in the United States moved to the right, voted more Republican. There's a reason why Donald Trump won in an electoral landslide. There's a reason why he won the popular vote. There is a reason why all across the world you are seeing people moving more to the right. Now, I'm an independent, but I also understand that when you broker in politics of extremism that goes so radical and so far in one direction, it almost requires that you need another extreme to pull it back towards the middle to get some degree of balance. And when that happens, the people who are the more critical thinking, the people who are more centrist, the people who are more objective, they find themselves caught in between a rock and a hard place where they just don't really know where they are, and they find themselves politically homeless. I'm one of those people, but at the same time, my ideals, they align way more with the conservative ideology, right? The way I live, and I would argue most black people in the United States, they live their lives more like conservatives. But for some reason, we vote every election with Democrats. And we're going to have to talk about that. But we're going to do that in another episode. But we're going to get into some of the conversation now. I want to play a little clip for you guys, just to talk about like this vandalism that's been going on with Tesla and the left, Democrats and people on the left who have been celebrating it. So I want to start off. I want to play you this clip just so you guys can see like exactly what I'm talking about.
For an American company to just be hated, for people to want it to not do well.
I think go back to point one. When you set a car on fire, you should go to jail. You're a criminal.
Any car,
I don't think we have to talk about it in any other context. And all those cars have cameras in them, and those dealerships have cameras.
Facts.
You're beyond being stupid when you do that. You're going to go to jail, and you now have a government that just got their mandate. They can't wait to find idiots that do this.
Yep.
You're going to spend 5 to 20 years in prison. If they get them on terrorism, which I think is a stretch, they will have no parole, no shortened sentence. They'll rot in hell.
Actually, I don't even think a terrorism charge is a stretch at all. Because what is terrorism? When people commit acts of violence for a political ideology, for religious ideology, that is terrorism. When you try to strike fear into people, when you try to punish them with violence, you know, we talk about terrorism all the time, and it's kind of crazy to me to see the left. Tony, you're a property over people guy. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm sorry. But yeah, well, what I notice about the left is they talk a lot about like terrorism. Remember how they were labeling parents? Remember how the Biden administration was how Joe Biden's DOJ was investigating parents who were protesting at school parent-teacher meetings, who were saying that they didn't want their children being exposed to pornographic content. Y'all remember that? Remember when they were being arrested and investigated as terrorists? Remember when people who were outside praying in front of abortion clinics, they were being arrested and they were being charged with terroristic threats? Yeah. So now you have people who are going all around the country and they're burning bro. And you know what's crazy? Most of the people who own Teslas are Democrats. That's the crazy thing. What happened to the whole climate shit? So what's going to happen? Y'all going to get rid of your Teslas and now you're going to go buy gasoline vehicles? I guess you're supporting Donald Trump's agenda of drill, baby, drill. Like, you can't make this shit up. It's like a bunch of children throwing a tantrum. I see them celebrating Donald Trump. I see them celebrating Elon Musk's Tesla stock. You know, oh, it's tanking. Yay. Ha, ha, ha. Bro, anybody that understands how the market works, it's like Christmas for us. It's like Christmas. Like, what do you think is going to happen? We're going to double down. Everybody is averaging down right now because they're getting ready to make a shit ton of money. And yeah, they're burning them. And you're burning Tesla vehicles, not even realizing the harmful impact that it's having on the environment. Bro, yeah. But you know what? Continue. That's the thing I say. But let me just keep playing the clip.
Hell in prison for 20 years. And frankly, as far as I'm concerned, that's okay. Breaking in, shooting a car, setting on fire, nothing to do with the politics, nothing.
Oh, word. I forgot. They're shooting at Teslas as well.
Do a Tesla. You are a criminal, and you should go
what about the broader question about the protest?
So do you guys agree with that? That if you commit those acts of violence, of terrorism, that you should go to jail? I mean, I would agree with that. I mean, I would hope that my Democrat friends would agree with that. But let's see. We're talking about terrorism. We're talking about, you know, all of this stuff, the hate, the hatred, right? Celebrating the mayhem. I want to play a clip from The Daily Show. Some of you have seen it, some of you have not. But I want you to see the way that the left, in today's political environment, in our social environment, I want you to understand, I want you to see how the political left processes things, because I think it's very important that we understand the type of people who have been standing on this moral pedestal, who have been occupying this moral high ground and declaring themselves the arbiters of virtue. I want you to see who these people are. And so let's play a little bit of this clip from The Daily Show when they were actually doing reporting on the vandalism and the terrorism that was happening at Tesla dealerships. Let's play the clip.
School gym. They're taking to the streets or the parking lots.
Tonight, the FBI and ATF now investigating multiple cases of possible arson targeting Teslas and Cybertrucks.
Wait, are they tearing?
Multiple cars in flames. Police say the attacker used Molotov cocktails. It's the latest in more than a dozen instances of arson and vandalism targeting Tesla.
The same suspect shot more Teslas with a gun. Tesla Cybertrucks were set on fire in Kansas City, and earlier this month, shots fired at a Tesla dealership in Oregon.
What?
Cybertrucks on fire in Seattle.
Wow, you guys like petty acts of domestic terrorism, huh?
Yeah, you see, he laughs about it, but yeah, you guys like petty acts of domestic terrorism. I mean, let's call it what it is. That's domestic terrorism. And I see the left, yo, you guys are just celebrating it. Like this is, and then here's the funny thing about it. I wish you guys on TikTok could actually see the podcast, right? What I'm showing here. Because I want you to see, have you all seen the people who are committing these crimes? Have you all seen these people? Let me show you some of these. These are the people who are committing these are the domestic terrorists who are committing the crimes, bro. Look at this bozo. He keys the car. You know these Teslas they record. And look, it records him going into his house. His address is right there. Yo, oh my God. Come on, y'all. We got to do better. We got to do better than this, bro. And there's something else I want you guys to see, because it seems like everybody's just falling for the okie doke with this, right? It's like, don't we realize that a lot of these protests, these mass protests that just pop up out of nowhere with hundreds of people and all that, you know that people are paying them, right? I'm wondering, you know that people are funding these protests the same way that they were funding a lot of the people who are coming out rallying for Kamala Harris. I'm sorry to say it. I know you don't like hearing it from me, but that's the truth. People are paying for this. These aren't just regular everyday people who are like, oh, darn it, I'm mad at Elon Musk for investigating the fraud. Let me go out there and protest and burn up vehicles. No, it is the unhinged radical left. And I hate this. I hate that word, like the whole radical shit, because I don't necessarily think radicalism is a bad thing. But I think in the context of the political left, it is dangerous. It is dangerous. But I want you guys to hear something. I'm sorry, because I find this shit so hilarious. But I want you to, I don't know, some of you maybe saw this clip, but this is a guy who's out there, you know, doing his Doge protest thing, right? He's holding his sign, and some people walk up to him and they ask him, like, yo, are you getting paid for this? He's like, yeah, I'm getting paid for this. Listen.
Yeah, I get paid to be out here.
You get paid to be out here?
Yeah.
Amazing. So some pack.
You really are getting paid for this?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, definitely. 100% I'm getting paid for this.
I don't know if you guys heard him. Yeah, 100% I'm getting paid for this. Yeah, I get paid for this. These are your revolutionaries, people. That's the revolution. That is your revolution, Democrats. It's funded by the DNC and George Soros. That's your revolution. The revolution apparently is televised on the left. People don't understand. Real revolution, it starts in the mind. And that is why, you know, the most powerful entities, well, the most powerful entity really being the media, is what they've been crucial to changing the narrative, to indoctrinating people into a mindset where they think that they're fighting for something that is a righteous cause when they're actually fighting for evil, because that's basically what the shit is boiling down to. Yeah, like that's what it's all boiling down to. But watching the left behave like this, you know, it reminded me of something. And this is what it reminded me of. You remember that kid Luigi? Remember him? This is what it reminds me of when you celebrated this young guy. Well, look, Luigi Mannions law claims cops illegally collected. I don't care about that. Who cares about the headline? But this reminds me of when this young man went out there and he killed that executive. I think it was a big pharma executive, how y'all were out there praising him and cheering him like a folk hero, where you all were defending him, taking out GoFundMe's for him. I think there was even some Democrat member of Congress who was basically promoting like some type of like a GoFundMe or some type of donation to his legal fees. This is the stuff that you guys are like celebrating, and that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. And then I look at it. You guys, you saw that clip that I played for you a while ago, right? And so I just had to remind myself of, the ideals that people are supporting on the left. And here's a clip of Luigi Mangione when they were talking about him after he murdered that guy.
Luigi Mangione dropped.
Whoa.
Yeah, definitely woo.
Hold on, wait, whoa, what?
Luigi Mangione dropped. Yeah, definitely woo. You're wooing for justice, right? Luigi Mangione dropped his extradition fight and was flown.
I mean, bro, you cheering for murderers now, and you going out there shooting at vehicles, burning cars, vandalizing dealerships, burning up charging stations. That's domestic terrorism. I'm just saying. Yeah, you got to admit it, right? At least you should admit what you're doing. And so for me, it's the hypocrisy for me. And as a person who believes in consistency, now, am I saying that the right has not engaged in foolishness? A lot, that there are people on the right who have done, like, let me see. See, that's the crazy thing, right? When I see the right like protesting or boycotting, I see them like boycotting like Bud Light. You know what I'm saying? I don't see them going out and burning down places. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sorry, I hate to pull the BLM card, but even I just think that there is this thing where we allow this cabal of people to take over the narrative and dictate the things that we're supposed to be angry about. And then when we go out there thinking that we're supporting something that is for our benefit, the bad actors take over and they turn it into something else. And then you get blamed for it, or you are the one who's going to receive all of the adverse results based upon all of the things that they do. And, I think Black Lives Matter was one of those things. You know what I'm saying? I get the original premise was supposed to be, what it was supposed to be, right? But it really wasn't that. And I wonder if there's a way for me to share this, because, I talked about the whole Black Lives Matter thing before, and there were a lot of people who were, arguing with me, a lot of Black folks who were arguing with me. Oh, Black Lives Matter, that was for Black people, and you tore down that movement and blah, blah, blah. It was a corporate. But I'm like, hold on, do y'all understand like what that, and that's the thing. People don't understand, right? Because I know they say, don't just put it on those women who like funneled all that money into buying houses and all of that. But they were the head of the snake, right? They were the top. And there were a whole bunch of little BLM organizations that were created under them all over the country. And I guess nobody really got any money from them. It was just very disorganized. But the face of Black Lives Matter, what really pushed that movement, that corporatized it, made it the big thing that it was, that made it a political engine. Those people, it was never about Black people. And then what's crazy is I was telling somebody, I was like, yo, hold on. Did y'all ever read the mission statement of Black Lives Matter? Because it never had nothing to do with Black men and protecting Black people and all of that. And they were like, no, that's not true. So they went to like the website, and I noticed the whole thing was different. It was not what I saw before. So I had to do some digging, because I read it before, and I knew the whole thing was like some LGBT trans stuff. Because I remember like when George Floyd happened, right? And I know Black Lives Matter kind of started before that, right? But it really kicked into overdrive with George Floyd. And I remember like a week into the protest, all of a sudden it changed from Black Lives Matter to Black Trans Lives Matter. And then I saw all of this like LGBT trans women, Black trans. And I'm like, what's happening right now? And so that's actually what compelled me to go and look into like the organization and their mission statement. And I found it. So I want to read it to you. We are guided by the fact that all Black lives matter. Damn, all. Kind of close to that. All lives matter, ain't it? But they're already, let me read it. We are guided by the fact that all Black lives matter, regardless of actual or perceived sexual identity, gender identity, gender expression, economic status, ability, disability, reaching. So within the first sentence, they're already preaching gender identity, sexual identity, and all of that, right? We make space for, here's the next sentence, the next paragraph. We make space for transgender brothers and sisters to participate and lead. This is Black Lives Matter mission statement, by the way, y'all. We are self-reflexive and do the work required to dismantle cisgender privilege and uplift Black trans folk, especially Black trans women who continue to be disproportionately impacted by trans antagonistic violence. Bro, this is Black Lives Matter, by the way. Black Lives Matter, I'm reading from. We build a space that affirms Black women and is free from sexism, misogyny, and environments in which men are centered. We hate men, basically. Wait, what about the Black male bodies that this movement was supposed to be about? The Mike Browns, the George Floyds, the Trayvon Martin. What about the Black men that y'all are supposed to be protecting? What's happening right now? And let's continue. Oh my God. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as extended families and quote unquote villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. We foster a queer affirming network. Bro, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Do I need to read anything else? Do I need to read any more? Come on, y'all. This is what I mean when we always end up falling for the okie doke when it comes to all of these initiatives that are always rolled out in the name of, like, you know, racial justice, equity, inclusion, and all of that. You know, honestly, I would love to see my community stop fighting to be included and start fighting to be self-sufficient, not be imposed upon, not be intruded upon by the government or any outside actors or any outside entities that are trying to fund and dictate our politics to us. I would love that. I would love that if white liberals would stop trying to tell Black people what racism is and what the solutions to it are. Because a lot of those so-called solutions that are being prescribed, they're coming from racists themselves. It's time to realize that the people, Black people, the people you've been standing next to for so long, have been the most harmful to you. Because if these are your so-called allies, these are the people who are championing the causes on your behalf, because they don't listen to you. The only time they put you to the front of a movement is if you're easily controlled, and if you're a man, if you're male, you have to be gay or some sort of trans. No sort of heterosexual male or masculinity is going to be allowed. But, you know, if you look at these movements, it's always championed by people who don't even participate in the things that they are pushing on you, the things that they're pushing on us in our community. And I'm talking to someone who came from the left, someone who was lifelong Democrat. But I realized that the more I tried to talk to my white liberal allies about how their policies and their politics were hurting us, largely because they weren't really listening to us and they were taking a paternalistic approach to our politics without really listening, they call me divisive. They call me racist. I'm a bigot. Imagine that. They call me racist when they're pushing politics that are destroying my community. I live in New York City, bro. Ain't no Republicans over there oppressing me. There ain't no Republican politicians over there that's destroying the black community in Brooklyn, Bronx. They're not doing that. But for some reason, my whole life I was told, you know, the Republicans are the problem. And this is not even an endorsement of Republicans. This is just to say that the people that you have been standing next to, Malcolm X talked to y'all about what a white liberal is. He talked to you about white liberals. So I see so many so-called black revolutionaries out here pretending to be fighting for black people while selling you out to white liberals in the Democrat Party. I can't respect that. I can't respect it. And the people who are actually telling the truth, those are the ones who are demonized. Or if you criticize Democrats, oh, you must be a Republican. You must be a right-winger. But the same, let's be fair, because if when you criticize Republicans, I've noticed it is starting to grow more lately. They say, oh, you must be a liberal. No, we have to let go of this hyper partisanship that forces us to view our politics through a binary lens, through this dichotomous lens that does not allow you to see the areas of gray that may exist, because everything is black or white. You're either a friend or you're an enemy. That's it. But the one thing that I see is that on the left, if they disagree with you, boy, you better be ready, because they're going to try to destroy you. And it's evident in how I started this segment. They're trying to destroy Tesla, because they hate Elon Musk, which is nothing more than an extension of their TDS, the Trump derangement syndrome. So now it's MDS, Musk derangement syndrome. And they just want to punish Tesla. But do you all know that Elon Musk, he owns only 12.8% of Tesla, 13% of Tesla? Who else owns the other 87% of Tesla? Y'all. People who are on the open market, the investors. You know what I'm saying? So what are you really doing here? And who do you think are the people who are primarily investing in Tesla? Conservatives? Republicans? Historically, think about it. You know Republicans that have been so heavily invested in climate change? It's like Democrats, you're eating yourselves alive and you're not even looking at it. You're destroying. And what about the people, the 121,000 people who work at Tesla? You trying to destroy their pensions? You trying to put them out of business? What happens to the stock portfolios? What happens to the 401ks of all the people who have them invested in certain stocks that have in ETFs that have Tesla as part of those portfolios? But even besides that, the whole market has been tanking. So, and some people say it's tanking. I would argue that the market is resetting, because it's been an overinflated market for a while now. There's been a lot of stock manipulation. So honestly, I'm happy to see what's happening right now. But you know, that's another conversation. Most people aren't really ready for that. But here's the now for the next segment. I want to talk about what Jamal Bowman did, former congressman here from New York, up in the Bronx. I think he was in the Bronx. He went on CNN and he said some wild shit about Elon Musk. Did y'all hear it? And this is what I'm talking about. They're getting crazy, but let me show you. I want to show you what he said. This is what your man said. Is this it? Let's play it.
That's what's happening.
It's not true, man.
Yes,
Hold
it
on,
is.
hold on,
All right,
hold on,
last
hold on.
words to Jamal.
That's not true. And this shows again the American people do not trust Elon Musk, and Elon Musk is incompetent in his position. And how do we know? Because they fired tens of thousands of people. It was challenged in court. The court said the people have to go back, and now the people are coming back. He's incompetent. He's a thief. He's a Nazi, and people don't trust him.
Whoa.
Period.
Let me just make a point, okay? As a member that is in a swing district, okay?
Do you notice how they did not correct him for saying that? That man went on national TV and said that Elon Musk is a Nazi. How you get away with this shit? No, bro, like real talk. Like, isn't that like, what is it, defamation or is it slander? I can't remember. Isn't that, it's one of those. Wait, I think, yeah, is it defamation or slander? Both? I don't know. But how do you get away with saying that on national television? It's kind of the same way that defamation, right? It's the same thing that they did to Donald Trump. Remember? Over the past 9 years, calling him Hitler, Nazi, all of this stuff. Remember all of the things they said that, yeah, you know, the only way to stop him is with a bullet. Do you remember the rhetoric that Democrats engaged in, which is what led to this landslide victory Donald Trump got in November? And he tried to say, oh, it wasn't a landslide. That shit was a fucking landslide, bro. Get out of here. We don't care about your counting for 2 months after that. Get out of here. Just read the room. Read the room. But the crazy thing is, they decided that because Donald Trump won, what did they say? Did they do some self-inventory, some self-reflection and say, damn, we got to do things better. You know what? We have to adjust here. No. They said that the country was misogynist and racist. Bro, read the room. You're wearing that card out into the dirt. It doesn't work. It doesn't work anymore. And the way that you all try to trigger black people all the time to step to the front of the line and be the cannon fodder for your nonsense. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of seeing these compliant. You know what? Let me be careful with the language, because then now I'm going to start talking radical, and some of y'all going to start, well, at least on TikTok, you know what they're going to do, because they're going to start reporting. But I'm tired of all of these compliant Negroes who always want to get up there and do the dirty work for the white liberals who stand idly by and let you tap dance and be the victims. It's crazy. Did y'all see how that dude, what was his name? Al Green from Texas, how he went up there when Trump spoke in front of the joint session, how Al Green went up there, got himself censored, got himself kicked out. Yeah, they praised him afterward, but hold on. Where were all the Democrats that were standing with him in that moment? Why y'all wasn't standing with him? Why y'all left him out there on his own to make a fool of himself and get his ass kicked out of there? Crazy. Crazy. And then to add the insult to it, when they voted to censure him, you had a bunch of Democrats, with white Democrats too, y'all holding hands singing, "We shall," singing Negro spirituals. Bro, that's like the kente cloth with Nancy Pelosi and them. Bro, black people, they taking you for a joke. I'm sorry. They taking you for a joke. This shit is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. And we still gonna have the compliant ones. Oh, you better stop it. You traitor, you Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom was actually a good guy in the story, fool. You mean Sambo. But it's like you're out there. It's so crazy. Like, and the thing is, I see people who I otherwise thought were intelligent out there caping for this nonsense. Like Jamal Bryan, the pastor Jamal Bryan, talking about, yeah, I see you spooks by the door. Fool don't even understand the context. Insulting black people who are showing up for a Black History Month celebration at the White House after y'all said that Donald Trump canceled Black History Month. It's always about trying to trigger you. It's always lying to you. Why can't we see that? These people are lying to you all the time. And you know why they do it? Because they can. Because they think you're stupid. You're stupid enough to let them get away with it. And it's crazy to see Jamal Bowman talking about how Elon Musk is incompetent, yet this fool is out here doing this.
Congressman Jamal Bowman from New York is now charged in D.C. with one count of falsely pulling the fire alarm. He was seen on video pulling a fire alarm inside the Capitol as Democrats were trying to delay a key government funding vote. Bowman claims it was an accident and that he didn't pull the alarm to try to delay the vote.
Bruh. That man called Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, who is doing an audit of this government to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse, incompetent. These are the people that they're putting on TV to educate you. What else is there to say? This shit is crazy. But yet, people like me who try to come out here and just give you guys a little bit of common sense, we're the ones who are silenced the most. And it's crazy to me. But you know what? You know what happened? After Jamal Bowman went on TV and said that bullshit, look what happened. That's the video. What do you see under that? You see Elon Musk? Look what he wrote. I've had enough. Lawsuit inbound. I agree. I 100% agree. Sue his ass. They all should have been doing that shit. Yo, you can't be able to just do that. Can you imagine? No, think about this. No, real talk. If any of you guys out there, you own a business, you work for someone, you know, your name means something. And then you have these people going out on national, international television, and they're saying that you're a Nazi. And they're saying all types of things about you that are not true, or at the very least unproven, to destroy your name. Meanwhile, all of your stocks are tanking. People are vandalizing. They're shooting at your vehicles. They're burning them. They're keying the cars. They're selling them back to the dealerships. All of this. You just gonna sit by and take it? Hell no. Hell no. Right. I think slander is more specific, right? Yeah, that's what I was asking. That's why I was saying defamation, then I was saying as compared to slander. Oh, I forgot about this. Jenna says the newest talking point is Trump brought back segregation. Thank you for bringing that up, Jenna, because we're going to address that too. Because, and you know, oh man, I'm so glad you brought that up, Jenna. It's so funny. You know why it's funny? Because that was actually the next segment that I was going to go into. I already had it queued up. Let me show you. So the newest talking point is that Donald Trump is bringing back segregation. So let me show you some of the headlines. Segregated facilities are no longer explicitly banned in federal contracts. These are the headlines, y'all. Trump administration ends segregated facilities ban in federal contracts. What does that sound like? That sounds like Donald Trump wants to go back to segregation, right? Trump administration quietly drops the ban on segregated facilities in federal contracts. Bro. Trump revokes federal diversity, equity, inclusion. Okay, no. But so let's dig into this article, because when I saw that, somebody was like, yo, Donald Trump, he banned the desegregation rules. I was like, what? Wait, Donald Trump is trying to bring back segregation? What? But then I also know how literally every news story you hear about Donald Trump today is false. It's fake. And it's crazy. You know what's so crazy? Because even when I was a Democrat, I hated the fact that I always had to defend Donald Trump because we were all being lied to so much. But now that I walked away from the Democrat Party and I am independent, it's even more infuriating because I have the benefit of, because I communicate with both sides and I have the benefit of listening to the arguments. I have the benefit of engaging in the discourse, and I can see where the problem is. But now we're talking about the whole entire media apparatus. That's what they told y'all, right? I know y'all saw it. Donald Trump, he lifted the desegregation, or he removed the ban on segregation. So let me show you what actually happened. So, you know what? Should I read the article first, or should I just show you? Because here's the thing. I did my own research on this. Somebody came in on a TikTok panel and they made that allegation. Now, when I first heard that, I was like, wait, that doesn't sound right. This must have something to do with transgender or gender identity or some shit like that, because we know that's the excuse that they use to force biological men into women's spaces. So my brain naturally said, okay, so they probably trying to say that they're calling that segregation when you're keeping men out of women's spaces. That's where my brain went, right? Let me not even read the article. I'm just going to take you right to it. I'm going to just take you right to the rule, because the rule that they said he was changed was the prohibition of segregated facilities for federal contracts. Oh, let me show you. Hold on. There it is. So why don't we take a look, shall we? So it's 52, for those who need to know, you can go to acquisition.gov, and the rule is 52.222-21, prohibition of segregated facilities. Now, let's go down in here. And bro, one of the first things I read, look at the first thing. Gender identity has the meaning given by you already see where we going with this, bro. Why didn't they say anything? So before I even needed to read the whole thing, let's read the first paragraph, because these are definitions, right? Segregated facilities. Remember, they said that Donald Trump, he lifted the ban on segregated facilities, right? So let me get it clear. So this rule here is what it eliminates segregation, right? But we know that subsequent to the Equal Employment Act of 1965 and the Civil Rights Act of 64, there were a bunch of executive orders that updated language to include, and this is like in the 2000s, they updated language to add more groups, and they included gender identity. That means your belief in something, not any biological reality like a disability or your race, not anything pertaining to religion. No, what you believe about yourself, because what is identity? It is how you identify, how you think, right? So they added gender identity to the anti-discrimination rules. And let's see what these segregated facilities are that Donald Trump lifted the ban on. Here's the definition. Segregated facilities means any waiting rooms, work areas, restrooms, restrooms and washrooms, locker rooms, dressing areas. I'm just skipping around. I'm giving y'all the key words. So, this prohibition of segregated facilities means that they are going to stop people from segregating in their bathrooms, in their washrooms, in their locker rooms, in their dressing areas. So guess what, ladies? A man now, a biological man who says he's a woman, he has the right to enter your space while you're undressed. And he can derobe, and his penis can be right there in front of your face, and you can't say anything about it. Because why? Because it is a desegregated space. So I would like to ask all of the women here who are watching this, are you okay? No. Do you have a problem with Donald Trump changing that rule that allowed men to go into your bathrooms and locker rooms and dressing areas? That's my question. Because if you read all of the headlines that I just showed you, let's go back to it. Let's go back. Because we talking about fake news here. If we read them headlines, segregated facilities are no longer explicitly banned in federal contracts. Oh, they sure did try to present it to you in a way, because they know that most people, they read the headlines and then they walk away. And this is why we need new media. This is why you need people like me and others, because I have been networking with a lot of brilliant people, I got to admit, on TikTok, very intelligent people who should be the lead voices. CNN, MSNBC, MSDNC, even Fox News. All of these corporate media outlets, NPR, because that was an NPR article that I gave you guys. All of these corporate media institutions, all of these corporate media giants, they're lying to you. They're feeding you crap, propaganda. We know that USAID was funding a lot of those propaganda rags, telling you what to think. So let me ask you, my Democrat friends, are you insulted yet? Do you feel offended that they deliberately lied to you? To my Democrat women, do you feel a little bit bamboozled knowing that Donald Trump didn't actually ban desegregation? What he did was he actually protected women's spaces when it came to federal contracts. He protected your bathrooms and your dressing rooms from men who say, who can literally say today I'm a man and then tomorrow say, nah, you know what, I'm a woman, and can go right up in your space with a full beard and mustache, and all they have to do is say, I identify as a woman. Are you okay with that? Because Donald Trump stopped that. But the media told you that he did something bad. This is the problem that we are facing, folks. We are facing a propagandized media that is propagandizing us. It is lying to us all the time. We're not doing our due diligence in enough to even dig deeper, look further into the information to try to find out the truth. We're not even interested in it. I'll give you, listen, I'll give you another fake story. And this is why I'm going to have to start Fact Check Fridays again, because it's getting ridiculous, bro. I was doing Fact Check Fridays before the election because I knew that people could benefit from it, because there was so much false information out in the public narrative. But I see now, well, as I knew it was going to happen, but my God, I thought there would have been some adjustment. They're getting even worse. So I see I need to bring back Fact Check Fridays. So let me just give you one more fake news story Because unfortunately, and especially to my Democrat friends, a lot of y'all who are probably watching this here on TikTok and you're talking shit in the comments, let me give you another fake news story that I can debunk the Democrat nonsense. And this is what I'm saying, bro. You got to ask yourself, if Donald Trump is so dangerous, why are they lying on him so much? Has anyone ever asked that question? If he's so bad and such a, I mean, do you need to lie? Why are you lying so much? Come on. Common sense, folks. Common sense. Occam's razor. Possibly the most the simplest explanation is the answer. Why do you think the media continues to lie to all of us about Donald Trump? Is it because the things that he's doing are against their agenda? If Donald Trump is trying to, if he's saying he's trying to put money in your pockets, he's trying to stimulate the economy. I mean, if he's so much of a monster, why are they lying so much? Could it be that maybe he isn't those things he's saying? Is it possible? Is it possible? Now, I know Donald Trump, he got some issues, and I'm no cultist for anybody. But can we admit that a lot of the things that Donald Trump is doing domestically are good and helpful to the country and to the American taxpayer? Bro, they've literally manipulated you guys into complaining about auditing the government that's been auditing you and giving you back your tax dollars. That's insane. That's literally insane. So let me give you this fake news story. Now, I'm sure you guys heard about this. There was a story that came out saying that the Pentagon set up a briefing for Elon Musk on potential war with China. Did y'all hear about that? Let me see if anybody heard about that. Did anybody hear about that? Yes. Okay, so some of you guys did hear about that. My TikTok folks over here, yes, they're engaging over here. Okay. Well, yes. So the New York Times put out a story saying that the Pentagon, they set up a briefing with Elon Musk about potential war with China. And of course, everybody's like, what? He doesn't have that type of security clearance. Wait, what? Now he's on these war and what's happening here? Like the government is being taken over by Elon Musk. Musk. Autistic man bad. Just like with Orange Man bad. So much so that they questioned Donald Trump about it and he immediately debunked it. And what's crazy is even Trump called out. He was like, hold on, we can't even do that. I would never do that. He said, I would never do that because it presents a conflict of interest anyway. Why? Because Elon Musk does business with Beijing. He has business in China. So how stupid would that be for the Pentagon to bring Elon Musk in for a briefing about potential war with China? He's not in a general. He's not in the military. Who is coming up with this shit? And if you read the Times article, you don't see any sources. You don't see any real sources because, you know, corporate media today has become, trust me, bro, that's their reporting now. It's always from unnamed sources, anonymous sources. I mean, even today, a lot of you guys still believe that Donald Trump said shithole countries. It's just been accepted now. Even people on the right, I hear accepting it when there was never ever any evidence that he said that, and he denied it clearly. People who were there in the room denied it. But guess what? Because we've heard it so much, so many of us, we believe that that's just what happened. What the hell just happened? Oh, let me go back to the story. Oh, no, don't tell me it reset. Oh, is this the briefing? Yeah. Let me play the briefing. All right.
You have been watching President Trump taking.
Okay, I'll play it here. Right. So you believe it so much that, you know, you hear it in your own mind that he said shithole countries, but he never said it. Well, there's no evidence of it. So I'm not going to accept that just because the media that lies to me all the time said so. But anyway, let's just play the clip. Now, this is after that New York Times report. I want you to hear what Trump had to say.
You guys today are denying, this New York Times report that Elon Musk was going to be shown a 20 to 30 page presentation about a theoretical war plan against China. Why not just show it to Elon?
Because I don't want to show it to anybody. You know, you're talking about a potential war with China. Now, I deal with these people all the time, and I'm dealing with Pete. I'm dealing with these gentlemen on numerous different airplane purchases, and I think they're all going to be great. But I don't want other people anybody seeing potential war with China. We don't want to have a potential war with China, but I can tell you if we did, we're very well equipped to handle it. But I don't want to show that to anybody. But certainly you wouldn't show it to a businessman who is helping us so much. He's a great patriot. He's paying a big price for helping us cut costs, and he's doing a great job. He's finding tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse. But I certainly wouldn't want, Elon has businesses in China, and he would be susceptible perhaps to that. But it was such a fake.
Even Donald Trump said it, that Elon Musk has businesses in China. He would be susceptible to that. He's a businessman. Why would they put him in a war briefing? Like, why are we so deranged that common sense doesn't rule over what we're saying? Just because the New York Times said it, you believe it. New York Times got a Pulitzer for Russiagate, and that shit is debunked. They never gave it back. Come on, y'all. Think. Start thinking. I'm here getting tight. Anyway, listen.
Story. The New York Times is just as fake as CNN and MSDNC. And
he said MSDNC.
Anybody read that story? People laughed at that story. Who would do such a thing?
Okay, so that's Donald Trump debunking that story. So what do you think? Do you think so? So we started with the story, right? New York Times put out this story. Hey, some people done said some stuff and told us that this was happening. Never told you the source, nothing. Donald Trump debunks it. Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, debunks it. Said that he's coming over. This is Doge related. Why? Remember, y'all were complaining, yo, Elon Musk, why isn't he going over there investigating the Pentagon? Yeah, he is. Yeah, they just found out that there's $5 trillion unaccounted for. Do y'all know that? Probably not. And this is what I mean, because you're waiting for, these outlets to tell you what to think. I'm sorry, that's just what's happening. That's just what's happening. So anyway, after they debunk it, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth, after they all debunk it, what do you think the New York Times does? Do you think they maybe retract the story? Do you think they'll print a retraction? No, of course not. This is what they did. Yo, hold on. Wait, where is it? Why the Pentagon scuttled its briefing of Musk on war plans. So they're saying that, because we called it out, they changed the plans and they canceled the meeting. Bro, how do you win? How do you win with a Democrat? How do you win with the left, bro? How do you win? Yo, if you read the article, it's just a whole bunch of trying to explain themselves and defend themselves. Well, they canceled it. We had a good source. He's our defense. What do they call him? Our war reporter. Wait, what is he called? Let me see. I called Eric Schmidt, a Times national security reporter who kindly stepped into one of the few Pentagon hallways where you can actually get cell service, and asked him to bring us up to speed. Y'all gotta read this shit, man. This is the New York Times, bro. This is the New York Times, bro. Look, folks, we got to do better. Either we want to hear the truth or we want to hear what soothes our own ignorance, or you want something that's just going to reinforce your own bias. You want confirmation of your bias. But the problem is most of the biases that we have, they've been fed to us. And that's just the sad truth. And I know that because the same thing happened to me. A lot of my opinions, they were fed to me. But the thing is, as a person who thinks critically and started to see certain patterns, I decided that I had to do my own due diligence. And I started to say, well, damn, I read that report before, but that's not what happened. And the more I started going down the rabbit hole, I started to see that many of the things that were reported that I was using as my talking points, they were false talking points. And technically, I was looking like an idiot. Well, to those who were in the know, I looked like an idiot. And I don't like looking like an idiot. I like to be researched in what I'm talking about. So it's the truth. The truth is just the truth. There's no such thing as my truth. There's no such thing as your truth. It's the truth. And if you're a person that prioritizes or you value objective facts, like objective analysis, like real information, then you're going to be married to the truth. That's it. Whether it makes you comfortable or not. And Donald Trump, based on everything I have seen, everything I've read, everything that I've heard and witnessed, is not this monster that the media is painting him out to be. And we have to be able to even make the correlation that the people who are telling you that he's the devil, they've been receiving a huge amount of money from agencies that Donald Trump is going after. A lot of the people who are saying that Donald Trump is corrupt, they have government jobs paying $100 and something thousand a year, but they're worth tens of millions of dollars. Think, people, please think. Like I said, I'm happy to be back. I'm glad for you guys who kind of stuck with me throughout this. This is my first time back in the saddle on the podcast. Once again, I'm going to be coming back every Friday. I'll do it every Friday at 8 p.m. We're going to be doing Fact Check Fridays. So make sure you follow me here on, well, I'm streaming right now on X, Rumble, and YouTube, but you can catch me on Rumble at We Need to Talk with Tony Lindsay. That's We Need to Talk with Tony Lindsay, right? Let me see if I can find it. Well, here's the YouTube. Right, you see that there on the bottom? You can also follow me on YouTube at We Need to Talk with Tony. That's the handle on YouTube. All right. Or you can just type in We Need to Talk with Tony Lindsay. That's where you find me. And you also find me on X right there. Real Tony Lindsay on X. Now I would tell you guys, you know, you can follow me on TikTok and all that, but I ain't even gonna lie to you. Most of the time my account is suspended on TikTok. I'm actually surprised they didn't take the account down now because I was being a little too honest in it. And usually when you're honest on TikTok, they take your account down. They suspend your account for misinformation or harassment or bullying or hate speech or some other bullshit like that. But we're going to work towards ungating my podcast and getting things out there so you guys can get access to real information. But in the meantime, I want you guys to just please always question the things that you have been taught. Because if you don't question them, now listen, you don't have to disagree, but you must question everything that you've been taught. Because if you don't question it, you're nothing more than a mouthpiece for someone else's point of view. Thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you next time on We Need to Talk with Tony Lindsay. Peace.